Hey everyone, I'm Manero here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to draw a fun portrait of an anthropomorphic animal using a cross-hatching technique in Procreate. So let's jump right into it. In order to achieve this, I'm going to be using the Crosshatching Experience brush set for Procreate. You can find it along with a free mini version for you to try out on my Gumroad page through the link in the top right corner of this video or in the description below. For this experiment, I grabbed a few photo references from a website called Unsplash, and what I'm going to do is to place Procreate and the photos up side by side and use this awesome feature of iPadOS, where you can hold your finger or Apple Pencil on the subject from any picture, and it will automatically separate it from the background for you. You can then drag and drop it into Procreate and manipulate it however you like. I'm using the selection tool to erase this gentleman's head and any other elements in the photo that I don't intend to use. And on a layer below the body, now I can bring different animals to make their heads fit the body. I'm doing all this as a way to come up with an idea for this animal portrait I want to draw, as I'm still not sure of which animal exactly I'd like to draw. This allows me to experiment with different options before deciding, and then using the resulting collage as my reference. At the end I chose this dog because I really liked his expression and how the smoking pipe really fitted his mouth area. But I have an idea for you. If you decide to follow along with this tutorial, feel free to screenshot the video to save these references and draw one of the other animals instead. If you post your art on social media, I would really love to see how you did. Make sure to tag me or use the hashtag ManeroBrushes so I can see what you created. I'm going to use my classic 8.5 by 11 inches canvas at 300 dpi. Then, just because I can, I'm going to import a couple of paper textures that will really make my art feel more analog. These paper textures are available as part of my paper collection, which you can also find through the link below. The first texture I'm importing is called Bamboo Sandpaper, and I'm going to place this in a layer on top of everything else. This layer also needs to be set to multiply mode. The second texture is called Noir Paper 2, and it will be placed right below the other paper texture. This layer needs to be set to lighter color mode, and it is going to give our inking lines a more realistic ink on paper feel. On a layer below these two is where I'm going to start my sketch. For this I'm going to use the new Inking Goodness brush that was included with the latest update to this brush set last week. As you can see, I'm starting with really big and messy shapes. My main focus right now is to establish the size of the main big masses, basically the torso, the head and the arm, and find the right proportion for each one in relation to the others. I can also start to define smaller shapes very roughly, like the ears, the snout and the hand. I'm sketching the directional lines of the wrinkles in the clothes as well. Once I have this very rough sketch, I lower the opacity of this layer, and on a new one, I start to define my final lines. I'm using my sketch as a simple guide, while allowing myself to be loose but confident. I usually start by the face, because it's going to be the focal point of the illustration, so it's a good idea to give it attention over everything else. Controlling the pressure I apply with the Apple Pencil allows me to thicken my lines where I want them to have more weight, and make them thinner in the ends, which is a great technique for representing hair. With the head blocked in, I continue defining the rest of the character. I noticed that I forgot to draw the newspaper in my sketch, so I added it here. And I also decided to change the name of the newspaper to Doggy Standard with a little bone symbol. Before I jump to use the cross-hatching brushes, I add a little more detail with the Inking Goodness brush to the head. Now, using the Wheeler 3 brush, I start drawing these little lines all over the head and the face, always following the direction of the volumes, which really helps to avoid the drawing to look flat. I can also draw my lines in different directions to make them intersect with each other, achieving the cross-hatching effect. The trick for these brushes to look believable is to use different ones all the time. This will make the lines look different, more random, and that will sell the idea that all these little hatching lines were drawn by hand individually, way more than if we use the same brush for everything. Also, it is worth mentioning that rotating the canvas with 2 fingers will make most of these brushes to change the direction of their lines, and this can allow you to add an even more randomized and realistic element to the cross-hatching effect. To reinforce this even more, I sometimes switch to the Inking Goodness brush again, and I draw a few cross-hatching lines by hand here and there like I did in the pipe. Using the selection tool to isolate a specific area like I did with the clothes can be very helpful, as you don't need to worry about adding the cross-hatching in other areas you don't want to. Notice how I'm changing the cross-hatching brush I'm using all the time to add variation in my cross-hatching work. Using a small size of the brush with these cross-hatching brushes can really allow you to be precise and work on details, like the way I shaded the wrinkles in the jacket. Again, by rotating the canvas I can change the direction of the lines and increase the density of the hatching effect, allowing me to represent different values and add volume to the figure. As a final touch, I added a new layer on top of everything else, even the paper textures, and using the Super Bleeder brush, I drew a circle around the character's head. I erased the parts that overlapped with the figure so that the circle looked like it was behind it. Then I manually filled the circle with sloppy scribbles. This technique makes the white lines look like they were made with some kind of white gel pen on paper and really makes the illustration have an extra dimension to it. I also added a little bit of smoke coming from the pipe. And this is the final result. I really hope you liked this video. If you use my brushes and post your art on social media, feel free to use the hashtag Manero brushes so that I can see what you create. I will be extremely happy to share your creations with my audience. Don't forget to subscribe for more art related videos and give me a thumbs up. Also, make sure to check out my Gumroad page, where you will find the Crosshatching Experience brush set for Procreate and many other sets and freebies that I have available. I'm sure something will suit your artistic needs. All the links are in the description below. Okay, thank you for watching. See you next time.